Yo, people, lateness is a greatness. Welcome back to the YouTube video. You already know what time it is. It's all you can eat Chelsea. And why did I say lateness is greatness? Because I woke up late, people. I apologize to my fellow gentlemen alongside me. I was on a night bus trying to get back from Stratford. You know when you watch James Bond and the movie just goes on and on and on, and then the central line says, goodbye. and you know, you have to make that split decision. Do you get on the last train or do you watch the last bit of the film? And the last bit of the film, I don't know if you guys have seen James Bond, the new James Bond movie. I had to watch the last part. It was worth it, but fuck me, those night buses are really long.
Night buses are the worst, man. When you miss that last train on the tube, you're screwed. Might as well get around.
Bro, you were up and it was like 4:30 p.m. Sydney time, and I'm like, what is this guy doing? That's 5:30 a.m. for you. I'm like,
oh my God, you are up.
Yeah, he was up. He was tweeting.
What time did this film start? 1 a.m.
I was just rambling. Anything that came to my head on my backup account, I was just saying it at this point because I was like, I am so tired.
Holy, you expect that on a Saturday night, not in the middle of a week.
I am unpredictable.
That's what happens.
Saturday night, I'll be in bed by 10.
That's what happens when you own a YouTube channel. Do you know what I mean? You rock and roll anytime you want. Do you know what I mean?
There is no structure. There is no set days. Do you know what I mean? If there's not going to be any structure on YouTube, there's no structure anywhere. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. But big up your damn selves for watching. I hope you guys enjoying the start of the show. I mean, Younes, bro, how are you doing? Talk to me. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. You know the drill here. It's getting cold, isn't it? It's getting flipping freezing. And we got Miz over there. It's probably summer for him.
Summertime, bro. Summertime.
But I'm good, man. I'm good. Everything's lush. We won again. We just keep getting dubs now, innit? It's just the way it is. So just dub after dub after dub. So yeah, long may it continue.
And Miz, bro, how are you feeling? Sunny over there in Australia. I'm not jealous one bit. Swear to God.
I mean, it's meant to be summertime, but we've got rain forecasted for the next 7 days. So it's been a bit cloudy today. It's been raining, but there's still a bit of humidity. So yeah, no jumpers here, boys. No jumpers here. It's even the t-shirt is a bit too much. I got the fan on. It's boiling up very, very soon, man. Hopefully, no fires.
Yes, of course, yeah, 100%.
Yes.
I mean, listen, guys, we're kind of like midway through the 2 points of 2 games in terms of Malmo and obviously Burnley. So you know, it's a situation where we can kind of reflect on one and go to both, I guess, as we go through the show. Malmo was, I guess, routine enough. You know, not exactly the beat down that I wanted, but you can't beat them all 6-7-0. It is what it is. But I do feel like that goalkeeper was so bad and we didn't really take advantage of it, because every time we had a shot, and it was even like very simple shots that were straight at him, he would fumble them and had to go for the second chance to smother it. And I just feel like if we had maybe shot from distance a little bit more, we could have had a real party. But it is what it is. Loftus-Cheek picks up the man of the match in my head. Jorginho picks it up in real life. The Ballon d'Or voting is closed, so that was completely pointless, but whatever. I mean, but we're going to discuss midfielders in this show, because I feel like that's the area of the pitch where, you know, we've had the most movement so far this season in terms of not only here, but out on loan as well, in terms of potentially changing our transfer targets and next season maybe changing the dynamics of what we previously planned. You know, Ruben, like I said, was great. You know, Jorginho, Ballon d'Or nominee. Kante is Kante. He might not be fit at the moment, but he's still Kante. And Gallagher and Kova are having good seasons as well. So, I mean, Younes, has this changed your idea of the midfield in terms of maybe transfer targets going forward? Or how do you feel about Gallagher and everyone just like ripping up the place at the moment? Because he had a great weekend, didn't he?
He had a fantastic weekend, man. And he done it in the most epic fashion against Man City at the Etihad at a time where we needed Man City to drop points. And now we're 5 clear because of Conor Gallagher. So cheers, mate. He's Agent Gallagher doing fantastic at Palace. But it has changed my perception a little bit, yeah. Because before these loan deals, before the window, I was looking at mainly, we have Jorginho, Kante, Kovacic. We'll get in too many or Rice, job done, right? Loftus-Cheek I thought was finished. Gallagher, I thought he's going to have it hard. He's going to find it really difficult to get into this team, even down the line. And I thought, okay, we're just going to get one player, too many or Rice, and job done. We'll be all right. Now, we've got Jorginho, Kante, Kovacic. We've got Loftus-Cheek that stepped up, and now he's amongst them. He's pretty much the fourth choice, and I thought he would be finished. We got Saul, and he's I think Saul was the reason why Loftus-Cheek stepped up. So probably the good thing from that is that Loftus-Cheek has stepped up. So we got Saul up until the end of the season. I don't really count him. Gallagher's killing it. The way he's playing, he needs to come back into this Chelsea squad. So now we've got another option. So I'm looking at this going, I don't know what to do now. Some people are calling to go and get Declan Rice, Tchouameni. If we got Loftus-Cheek and Gallagher playing like this, we respectfully don't need anyone else. Unless if you're looking long-term, Kante steps down, Jorginho if he leaves, I don't know. But right now, I don't see a reason why we need to go and get anyone. But that's just the way it is now. We'll see what happens along the season. And if they keep it up, fingers crossed they do.
Yeah, I mean, Miz, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because Gallagher is performing at such a level that, especially on back-to-back Premier League loans after the West Brom loan, I don't feel like it would really make any sense to loan him out again if he continues the way that he's going, because he's kind of completed like the assignment. He's kind of done what we told him to do. Go out there. You know, you've done your loan at West Brom. Yes, they got relegated. You had a good season. You played in a more defensive manner. Now maybe Tuchel's instructed him and Mateo Kovacic, if you really want to play for this club, we're going to need some assists and maybe even some goals from that midfield if you want to stand out from Jorginho, from Kante. And Gallagher's brought that to the table. Kova's brought more assists to the table. And if we used to loan him out again, I would just think to myself, well, what do you want now? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what is your problem? Do you know what I mean? Like, make a decision. Either you're selling me with a buyback or you're keeping me. So do you see Gallagher playing in that pivot? And if he does continue like this, are you definitely keeping him, or do you feel like, you know, there's just no room for this guy?
Nah, he's in the conversation now. He's storming into the conversation. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were sitting here not that long ago, sort of thinking he's a profit player. We're going to sell him, we'll get some money, and then we'll see what we want to do with that money and invest elsewhere. Now, he is not just knocking on the door. He is kicking the door down to say, you better have me back. Guys, you don't go to Man City away from home and put up that performance, press, assist the first goal, score the second. Like, come on. You don't do. Man City is probably one of the best teams in the world at the moment.
And put Ruben Diaz on his ass, just saying.
And put Ruben Diaz on his ass. Look, we talk about loans and people say, oh, one more loan. What one more loan? People forget it's not just West Brom and Palace. There were loans before that as well.
Yeah.
In Championship,
Charlton, he was
Swansea, Charlton.
Yeah.
He banged in goals in Charlton. I remember. He was hitting it with, long range and I think free kicks as well. He was doing it. Yeah. Swansea was okay. She didn't do that great, but still not, he went in, I think, halfway through Charlton. He's done his loan stuff. He's learned what he's had to learn. The next move is either I make it at Chelsea or, as you said, Matisse, sell me, have a buyback. If you ever think, I think Chelsea would be mad to sell him now. I think he's put himself into the conversation. Yeah. He has to be given a proper opportunity in preseason next season. And I've got no doubt this lad will eat it up in the preseason. He will eat it up and he will force Thomas Tuchel the same situation as Chalobah did. So I don't think we need. You know what, boys? I had an epiphany a couple of weeks ago. I had an epiphany. I'm going to share this with you guys. We need to stop disrespecting our academy players. We really do.
Cobham Inc.
They are damn good. They are damn good. Even the guy that we laugh about, knife, spoon, and fork.
Knife, spoon, and forks.
Yeah, I'm going to stop.
No, don't stop.
I'm going to stop because I have a feeling he's probably good as well. He probably is. Who knows?
The Cutlery King.
The Cutlery King is probably chopping everything up over there. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
When he signs a 5-year deal and he's in the first team, I want to see that picture with the contract with a knife and fork.
I feel like at that point, I would have liked to have got far enough in my my social media career where I can actually sign that contract alongside him and his dad with the cutlery next to with the pen. Yes,
you hand over the cutlery to him.
I feel like I should be involved in that.
Put some ink at the end of the cutlery and sign it all up.
I'll cut something while he's signing it.
Bro, there's massive praise about this new kid that's in the block, Harvey Vale.
Yes,
and there's big props about him. Giroud was saying in recent comments, he couldn't believe he doesn't even have a driver's license because he's that good. I was just thinking, what's that got to do with driving, my man? If he's good at football, does it mean you have to have a driver's license? Come on, man.
How old is he? He's 16.
It's like 16, 17 or something.
17.
So he can't. Oh, so he can have a driver's
license.
License.
Actually, no. I think he's older than that now.
When can you drive over there? What age?
No, I think he. But he might. He might not have a driver's license, but still be 18.
Oh, he's 18. Yeah, so
he's 18. He's 18.
He's only just turned 18 2 months ago. So
yeah.
But bottom line, boys, I've come to a realization that we need to respect our academy. Levi Colville is another one who's absolutely. But we need to respect our academy boys a lot more. And if we can't find the talent there, then go out there and find world class, only world class.
Yeah.
No bits and pieces. Hope for the best that they turn out good. No, world-class players only. So for me, I think the midfield is pretty much closed now. I don't think we need Declan Rice. I don't think we need Tchouaméni. We do need someone like Jorginho down the track because I do want to play possession-based. I do want us to control the game with possession. Billy Gilmour is one that we do need to probably bring back and mold him into that Jorginho role.
Yeah.
We've got a plethora of options, boys, man. Midfield's not the issue anymore. I'd rather spend big money up front. I don't know if you guys seen Juventus play Zenit. Yeah. I saw the highlights. Chiesa, oh my God. He ripped a new hole onto Zenit. The new one.
You have the asshole, and then there's a new hole.
There's a new hole. And they don't know whether to shit or to breathe from it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's incredible what he did to Zenit. Oh my God! Like, we need to spend maybe upfront if that's where we need to invest. That's all I'm saying. Midfield's not the issue.
Wow. I mean, for me, it's like you're right. We really do need to start actually rating the academy, and for the ones that already do, fantastic too. But I think now, like whoever doesn't, I think they really need to wake up now because from that crop of players, I think that the next crop, the under 23s, Chelsea are currently not, blitzing it right now because all of our under 23s that would have qualified for that are playing first team football in the Premier League. Like you got Brozier and you got Livramento is having a great season. He's 18 years old. Again, another player that maybe fallen on deaf ears. I was definitely one of the ones that was like, come on guys, wake up. He's better than some of the guys you're willing to spend on unless it's Hakimi.
Yeah.
And you look at Mark Guehi shutting up Manchester City. Again, clean sheet. Great performance. He was unbelievable against Manchester City. Another player that, if you're looking at Rudiger's contract, you're saying who can be, there's another one there. Tomori and Abraham, we've already seen them go to Italy and do their thing. It's like Tariq Lamptey putting Robertson on his arse at Anfield.
Oh my God.
There. Like,
Tariq
Lamptey, we have so much talent.
Smoked Liverpool.
And I haven't even got to Mazzella up in the front three for Bayern Munich.
Forget those ones.
I haven't even got to him starting at Bayern sometimes, and he's like a kid. Again, another guy, and he would have been a perfect inside forward for us. He is the type that would play inside forward position. I think him and Tino Andrin are probably more suited to that role than a lot of the players that we currently have.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're
He'll
stacked.
probably make a permanent move.
We're stacked.
Absolutely stacked with. Oh my God, this is nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, and we got to be realistic as well because, as we've mentioned, all of them can't make it.
Of course, exactly.
Time. So, like when you mention some of those players and they've left, I get it, and we've made money with it. Cool, but some of them have to come through. Have to. Like we're too good now in terms of our academy. We can't.
We could actually put together a whole 11.
We could.
Yeah.
We could. Yeah,
Brozier
is another one now as well.
Brozier has to make it. I'm convinced he has to make it. I'm convinced. The madness he's doing right now with Southampton, he has to make it. People talk about, look, I'm not comparing him with Haaland, but he's dynamic, man. Broja's dynamic.
Yeah.
He's
Do you think he has a better chance than Abraham did?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think
he's got more technical ability than Abraham. For sure. Yeah, better ball control, that burst of pace, better shooting technique, much better finisher. So, yeah, I mean, the other point that I wanted to say, I think Chelsea's smart as well. They're starting to put buyback clause in a lot of these.
Much better. Yeah.
They have to.
They're like, we know you're going to be a gem. We're going to have you back. So, Tino Livramento is coming back, for sure. Chelsea will have him back. Yeah. I've got no doubt about it.
I always think it's very difficult for a number 9 to make it. So I'm always reserved when I see young strikers coming through. I'm like, that's the one position where I highly doubt he'll get first team minutes. Like he'd have to put up serious numbers. I remember back when we had Daniel Sturridge out on loan at Bolton and he absolutely ripped it up over there. And he comes back and he's like third choice here. And it's just because we just got too many, Roman toys, I guess. Wanted Torres, yeah, exactly. But back to the midfield, circling back. I mean, like you said, Miz. I mean, that's already 5 options without even purchasing anyone. If obviously Loftus-Cheek coming back into the frame, and I feel like we do need to adapt our transfer targets to what we're also seeing at home, which is what we've seen with Trevor. I mean, how many people are going to tell me now that we need Jules Koundé? Unless you're moving Trevor over to the left-hand side when Rudiger leaves, surely Trevor has earned the right to dismiss all talk of Jules Koundé at right side centre-back. Trevor's been absolutely unbelievable. He's been winning his aerial duels, his ground duels, his progressive passing from the back. He's so calm. He's played...
Chalobah starts for Man United, Matisse. Chalobah starts for Man United.
He does.
No doubt. Easy.
100%.
Easy.
Should be in that England squad now, really, if I'm being honest.
England squad announced at 2 p.m. today. If I don't see Chalobah in that team, mate.
Well, by the time this gets released, the comments will know. And just know that if we knew too, and he wasn't there, we'd be fuming. We can't make the angry faces now, but I'll make them in the comments with you when this is up for the Premier.
But you know what? Harry Maguire should not make it.
Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire both shouldn't make it for trying to get on the sack.
Tyrone Mings should not make it.
Harry Kane shouldn't make it.
True, he shouldn't.
But he will.
Shouldn't though.
Because he's Harry Kane.
If we're doing this
he shouldn't though.
I mean,
if he's in the England team, I should be in the England team because he's done just as much as me. Simple.
You know what? I think
you've done more.
Get Younes on more.
At least I put out content. He's done nothing. No, but it's got to be put on form, innit? Yeah.
By the way, I've got Harry Kane in my fantasy Premier League.
What are you doing?
He's coming back. Don't you worry.
You still play that game? I've given up.
I just noticed Matisse. I've got in front of you. Yeah.
Damn it. Is that the content creators?
Miz in the mud, the content creators one. Actually,
I was in front of Younes, but Younes just took over again. It's a battle between me and Younes right now.
I had a great week.
Bro, your midfield was smoking.
Huh?
Your midfield was smoking, bro.
Gallagher, Berama. Oh, man.
You had Rice. How'd you have Rice?
Rice scored. Yeah, mate.
I still had an injured Lukaku.
I had a great week.
yeah, Matisse, you had an injured Lukaku up front.
And Ronaldo's still here.
You need to use that wild card, bro.
I've got a free hit though. I used my free hit this game week. I went back in and used it. My team this week is ridiculous. In fact, I'll quickly read it out for you. Right, Mendy, James, Chilwell, Livramento, Salah, Gallagher, Basuma. I don't think he's going to play, is he? Where the hell is that brother gone? Rice, Mane, Dennis, and Antonio.
That's actually
a decent team.
That's decent. Yeah.
And they've all got favourable fixtures. I put Duffy in for Basuma. I don't know why I started Basuma.
I was going to say to you delete, but no, maybe keep it.
Yeah. But yeah, actually, maybe some Tottenham players are actually.
I'm telling you, Tottenham's going to bounce back. And their fixtures are looking good. Harry Kane is back into my team. I'll probably get Son next week, and it's going to be buzzing. Salah and Kane, captaincy. Salah, Kane.
I'm waiting for that time, and I think it might come soon. Where Conte's like, I don't believe what I have done. We must be prepared to suffer. We must be prepared to suffer.
Oh my God, Younes, you do the best, bro. Do the sufferable comment again. That last week what you did about, but. There is the suffer ball.
Oh my God. Yeah, man. Tottenham don't know what they signed up for.
I've brought in Son.
I've convinced Matisse. I've convinced him. He's like, oh, Miz has talked him up. I've got to get some Spurs players.
I've actually got barely strikers on this pitch, but it is what it is. We move.
Well, Son's going to buzz, bro. Son and Kane. That's Lukaku Martinez feelings from Inter. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
That's if Kane wakes up, though. If Kane actually comes to terms with, I'm not going to City now. I've got to get on with it. Like, he has to. If he doesn't...
City's not going to come for him again.
No, I think City will
tell Harry Kane that. Tell Harry Kane that. We all know this.
Harry, you're washed, mate, right? It's over. It's done.
Can you imagine if Conte, like, he's just like, this guy cannot play, and then he like sends him a text message like, "You're out my team," like he did to Costa.
With the emoticon.
Oh, shit, sorry, muscle memory. Let's send that to Harry. Still got Diego's number on my phone for some reason.
He's still got it in his sent messages. Put it in drafts to Harry Kane.
Yo, Harry, piss off to Brazil, mate, if you don't mind.
Imagine he actually says, Diego, get out of here. Like, he hasn't even removed his name.
Just copy and paste the message. Don't even put any thought in.
It's an asterisk. Sorry, Harry.
Oh, God. Man, do you know what I was going to say with this midfield run as well? Is firstly on Rice. Rice's value, if anything, has only gone up this season. And he's playing a box-to-box role now because he's getting goals. So he's not even the sitter that we was trying to target. This guy's bombing forward. He scored a great goal against Aston Villa at the weekend, but like he's literally just become a box-to-box now. And Souček has almost sat back. I haven't been keeping an eye on Tchouaméni. I don't know how great he's doing over there, but I get where you're coming from, Miz. I would like us to analyze and look at what we've got at home, first of all. I feel like this comes really not even from undervaluing Cobham, but I think this comes from undervaluing even still Kova and Jorginho. They seem to be players that people want to usher out the door as soon as possible to move on. And I don't get it when they're putting in top performances. They have us top of the league and they have us winning a Champions League. So I really don't understand the push to get these guys out and move on to the next crop.
I want to ask, I don't know if you guys know, in our academy, do we have any like DMs or sitters coming through?
Not that I've seen, no, at the highest level. I think the only top young prospect right now from midfield is probably Harvey Vale and Gilmore, and they're more petite, so they're not like your DMs.
I wonder if, like, because we seem to be producing players in every single department, but I long for the day where we look at the academy and we go, we have a DM. We have a DM. You know?
Yeah, it would be brilliant. Really, it would start all conversation.
I haven't heard of any of our, academy sort of side having DMs and stuff. So it's interesting. Who is the DM at the moment?
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, I was gonna because when we put some visual sort of figures into it, that's when it gets really serious. But you want to bring him up? Like,
there we go.
I just want to show and get your feelings. Like these are the midfielders that we have. I'm just gonna line them all up.
Miss Ball.
No tactical stuff. It's more as to the names that we have. So let's just pile it on.
RLC up front. What is this, Conte?
These are the options that we've got now, and obviously some of them will go. But I'm going to throw everything in there. That way, we can see who we have, right?
Oh, Jesus Christ, Barkley. We've got so many options. Jesus Christ.
Who are we missing now in the midfield?
But Barkley's kind of part of the front three, so I'd actually take Barkley out. Are you going with pivot options?
Yeah, pivot options. So
take Barkley. I would play Barkley in a pivot personally.
All right, okay. Ampadu? Would you put Ampadu?
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Ampadu's probably more of a pivot option than.
So, have I got everyone?
Harvey Vale plays.
Let's leave him for now.
Let's leave him. He's not senior.
This is what we got.
Yes. And
you want to get Rice? You want to get Tchouaméni? Like, for who though? Like, someone's got to go. Obviously, let's say Saul. Saul's been.
I think Saul is not going to do enough to keep his place. I think Ampadu is going to have a serious uptake in form on that loan spell. I think it's been a bit up and down. I think he got sent off the other day. Unfairly sent off.
So we'll put him away as well. So this is.
But
what
also
we've got with
Ampadu, I
six.
think more goes into a back three. But again, I think he's got a long way to go.
So these are the six options we got: Kova, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Kante, Gallagher, Jorginho, Billy G. So where is Rice, Tchouameni, or as much as I love Jude Bellingham, where are they going to come in? Who's going to go?
I think
yeah, go on, Matisse.
I think Billy with this stinker of a loan at Norwich, because obviously it's a terrible club and they're not really using him, is probably going to have to get another loan deal. I feel like Billy only really comes into this squad properly when Jorginho really, really comes towards the end of his time here. I don't think both of them will be in the team like that. Because I think they're both quite similar in the way that they play. They dictate possession and whatnot. And Jorginho is obviously such a key part. So I think that isolates him. Ampadu, like I said, was for me back three material as well. I think he's very much back three material. He played that game against Tottenham for Leipzig. And Ampadu wouldn't surprise me, actually. Yeah, put him over there. I wouldn't be surprised if Ampadu, if Tuchel sees him in pre-season and actually says, you know what, I might be able to use you. That feels like a Trevor kind of vibe where he's old enough and got enough experience now to step up to a level where we are not expecting. So I've always had a lot of faith in Ampadu's ability. So I think he could surprise someone. And then we got
you know what? The word was that Ampadu was practicing in pre-season in Jorginho's role. He was Jorginho's like the swap partner. So Jorginho would be doing the one-touch passing in the register sort of position, and then Ampadu would do with another batch of players. So, you know, maybe Thomas Tuchel sees him as a sort of sitting as a sitter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
with
this is what we have. This is what we have, boys. And, you know, are you going to be game enough to say, okay, well, Gallagher won't get an opportunity and we get a Rice? I think that's very harsh on Gallagher.
Different types of players as well, aren't they? I think Gallagher's. I'm trying to figure out where Gallagher fits in here. Like, he can play that pivot. He played pretty good defensive contributions at West Brom, but now at Palace we're starting to see some output. Do you think Gallagher has an opportunity to go into that front three if we sell someone in that front three?
I mean,
it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, go on, Younes. Yeah.
I mean, when I look at Gallagher, I don't see him as a defensive sort of player, or someone that can just sit in a pivot, unless if he's given license to go forward and do what he did against like Palace, for example. I look at the way Mason Mount is used, and I think Gallagher is of the same breed, if you know what I mean. So if we're talking about the pivot, if we're talking about where Jorginho, Kante, Kovacic play, and we're looking at the way that Loftus-Cheek's kind of been converted, maybe Gallagher can slightly be converted, but he still needs to go forward, because I feel like him going forward is where he offers his best. So it's a tough one. But I think just in behind the striker somewhere, if we do play in a way where we can just have a midfielder that's just a bit tucked in, that's Gallagher all day long.
So you're talking about more of a midfield three, perhaps, as opposed to a double pivot. Have like maybe a sitter and then two up front, or more like eights, I suppose, attacking eights kind of stuff.
Yeah, or even tens. If there's two,
or
just
even tens.
The main man up top. You know, there's that too.
It's weird because like I wouldn't put Gallagher and Mount in the same front three. Like it would be one or the other, because I feel like they're both the link to the pivot as like a more defensive attacker like that. You know, they're not your out and out attacking wide tens like a Pulisic or Hudson-Odoi or a Ziyech. No. They're a little bit more. They can funnel into the pivot. Remember when we had Mason Mount tucking into the 3-man midfield against Real Madrid, and he fell back and then it became a front two on the break in transition. So exactly. I see him as like that kind of guy. But when I look at Gallagher, I feel like he's half pivot, half front three, because he can be that energy in the midfield that wins tackles and defends and gets into shape. Like, he's a hard worker. I think that's why Tuchel will probably like him a lot. But I can't pencil in just exactly where he goes, because I think he's the biggest threat to the box-to-box midfielders, which are your Kantes, your Kovas, and your Loftus-Cheeks. But we've got three players. I've just named three there. That's a lot of depth. So unless one of them is leaving, he's not going to play Jorginho's role as a sitter. I've said many times, I think this midfield is quite imbalanced. Like, Jorginho is the only sitter, and Gallagher and Kova and Ruben are all box to box. So who, you can't have 3 people rotating for one position.
This is what I picture if someone like Gallagher comes in, something like that in midfield. And then you can have still Ruben Loftus-Cheek there. You can even take this and turn this into Ruben Loftus-Cheek. It would have to be a front 2. But if you then want to play like this...
I don't like Loftus-Cheek up there.
Yeah, but you'd have to change the personnel.
You'd have to change him in it, yeah.
You'd either play, I don't know, Pulisic or a Cho or whoever. It could be the other way around as well. Something like that. And then Gallagher and Jorginho. But there's a lot of options. There's a lot of options.
There's a lot
of options, man. Yeah.
Oh, you just muted them, Younes, for a sec.
Is Younes back?
I'm back.
Not quite. Yeah.
there's a lot of options. There's a lot of variation there. You can go with so many different avenues. And to an extent, that helps us because it makes it hard for teams to predict what we're actually going to do and deploy in terms of our shape or selection, because we've got so many different options we could go with. You got to keep the squad happy, though. So that's the other side of the coin.
Yeah, and just to add in, this is where people they'll say to Miz, right, this is why we need Tchouaméni or Declan Rice. This is why. Because what we've just done there is rotate Cover out the team and Kante out the team in that Loftus-Cheek and Gallagher position. But what about Jorginho? When Jorginho is down and out, who comes in? If Gilmour's going back out on loan, which will probably potentially happen, if Ampadu's going back out on loan, which will probably potentially happen, who's coming in for Jorginho? Is Cover going to play that role? No. Is Loftus-Cheek going to play that role? Absolutely not. I want to see Loftus-Cheek breaking through the lines going forward. Is Gallagher going to play that role? Again, if you're putting in all these output statistics at Palace, you'd want to put him in that box-to-box role. That's what he is. And then you've got, Kante, and I definitely don't want to see him play that role, picking it up off the centre-backs. I want to see him allowed to use his mobility. So unless someone's getting sold, there's still the case, even with Gallagher, to say, this is the other side of the coin, pardon the pun. We need a DM. We need someone who can sit. And I keep saying this, I don't even want this because Jorginho needs to be benched. I love Jorginho. I think Jorginho can start all the time. I keep saying this, like people that have been trying to usher Jorginho out of the starting 11s. I keep saying, like, this is one of the best players in his position in the world this calendar year. He can definitely start. But when Jorginho needs a rest, and I think this season we've started to see sometimes he's been tired because he hasn't had a rest in a while, who comes in for him? And maybe it doesn't need to be a marquee signing because, like you said, you need to keep players happy. Maybe it does need to be an Ampadu level player who is okay to be backup. Someone that is okay to sit on the bench. Maybe it does need to be, maybe even Gilmour will take those minutes. Although I would like Gilmour to play week in, week out for one season. That would be great. I want to see how he takes that control, because then when Jorginho is gone, he could potentially step in. But this is the argument for Rice, for Tchouaméni. But is that a player that is maybe too good to play that role with Jorginho? Like, this is the question. And the versatility that Rice and Tchouaméni brings is that they can sit, but they can also play in the box-to-box role. But we've got too many box-to-box midfielders. If we didn't have all these box-to-box midfielders, you could say, bring in a Rice or a Tchouaméni. They can play box-to-box like Rice is playing, like Tchouaméni's playing. And then if Jorginho goes down, they can also sit. That's the dream situation if Loftus-Cheek didn't have a resurgence, if Gallagher wasn't blazing it, if Cover didn't improve on his assists, but they did. All three of those players have blitzed it, and we know we know what Kante is. He's hard. It's very unlikely Kante is going anywhere when he puts up the performances he does. Kante is one of those players who doesn't need a string of games to get back to fitness and start putting in world-class performances. He just goes straight in immediately.
This season, we've already seen Ruben Loftus-Cheek play a deeper role in midfield. In fact, he started as a deeper and then he's slowly sort of progressed further up. And this is what I said beginning of this season, that the whole Saul situation, I was never on board with it. I know a lot of people were that, he's another top-class player. It only will help us, da-di-da-di-da. I was sort of thinking, you've got Kante, Kovacic, and Jorginho who will predominantly play most of the matches, okay, between them. Then you need another player, the fourth choice. A lot of people don't like that word, fourth choice, but I thought you can give that to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. You can give that to, Ross Barkley, who still didn't go at that time, because they can make up those times. Now we have Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who's burst into the scene. So it's no longer the 3, it's now 4 premier midfielders. And you got 2 that we play with, right? So I just, even if we think next season that we do need support for Jorginho when he needs break, I feel like in the odd sort of Carabao Cup game, early stages of the FA Cup, some of the odd sort of games for Premier League here and there, we could still do with Ruben and Kovacic like we've seen this season against Brentford, against Aston Villa. I feel like we can still get away with that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and Gallagher's used to playing in a defensive pivot as well, so that he comes into that.
Exactly. So we still do need to realize that hopefully Jorginho's fit and he sees out his contract for another couple of more seasons. We don't need someone, like a Rice or a Tchouameni who will not get that many chances to play as a sitting defender, because it should be mostly Jorginho if he's fit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think also what Loftus-Cheek's brought to the table here that we didn't have is strength. All of those characteristics that people say that the midfield lacked. It lacked height. It lacked strength, shielding the ball. Like things like that, where aerial duels now, Loftus-Cheek can compete. Strength-wise, if we have set pieces defensively, Loftus-Cheek can compete. The way that he shields the ball and protects it, Loftus-Cheek does that. So he's brought a lot of things to the table that Jorginho didn't have, that Kante didn't have, that Kova didn't have, that Gallagher still wouldn't have, in what is quite a small midfield. Now it's got a little bit of height to it, and it's brought attributes that we didn't have before. Younes, how do you feel about that midfield going forward? I guess what people will say as well is that can we afford to miss out on a Rice, Tchouameni long term and let them go to a rival club when Kante's got his injury issues and he's aging? Jorginho will at some point hit something where his pace just is really on the floor, and maybe he'll die, he'll come to the end in maybe a couple of years as well, and we'll be kicking ourselves that we didn't prepare for their potential downfalls in their mid-30s when we had the opportunity.
Yeah, there is that side to it. You got to look in hindsight. You never know what's going to happen. So, when you prepare and you think of, that transition, you have to take that into consideration. Kante and Jorginho mainly. Kante, I feel like, will be someone that you can eventually, weirdly enough, because it's Kante and Kante's Kante, but when he's not playing, you kind of have an alternative that you can go to, just in terms of his position and how he plays. But with Jorginho, as we've already clarified, it's really difficult. When you look at the people that we have available, whether in the team or on loan, probably Billy Gilmore's the only one that comes closest. So you raising that debate earlier as to whether we should even consider selling Gilmore in the first place or getting rid, he's actually the closest we have to a Jorginho.
Yeah.
And in terms of how Thomas Tuchel plays, you need someone in that midfield who's going to sit, but is quick with passing, quick on the transition, can supply a through ball, can ping a long ball. Those qualities are crucial. Yes, Declan Rice, Tchouameni would be good. One of them, definitely. The only thing with a Declan Rice, for example, is the money. It will be 100 million. It will be something nuts. I don't think Chelsea are prepared to do it, if I'm honest. Tchouameni, absolutely. I think Chelsea will be prepared to go to a Tchouameni. But yeah, it raises the question, how are you going to manage all of this? We've just clarified all the midfielders we have. That's going to be down to TT and to the club. Sorry. It's really, really difficult. As I've already said before, you can't accommodate all of them. And that's just the sad reality. And I want to, but we can't. We just can't. So there's that. In the meantime, because I asked this question earlier on, we've got to look, because our Cobham Inc. and our academy are the best academy in the world, right? We've got to start looking to see who we've got in those roles. And especially with DM, which I've already mentioned. Now, as you guys have been talking, I've done a little bit of looking up.
Oh, a bit of research.
A little bit of research. And we have 2 DMs. We have 2. It's great. We've got 2, and we've got 2 other midfielders that play alongside. Weirdly enough, even in the academy, they play a double pivot. And one is a DM and one is like an 8. So we've got Charlie Webster and Lewis Hall, who are those sort of 8s. We've got Josh Tobin and we've got Sam Raksaki. Both of them, well, Sam Raksaki has been at the club since he was 8, much like all of our first team academy lot. So he's a DM. Ghanaian originally, just saying.
Engine.
You know,
I've heard great things about Charlie Webster, but like you said, he's an 8, isn't he?
He is. But yeah, with Sam Raksaki, if we can get an SEN regen, that would be great. But Josh Tobin as well, 16 and 17, the two of them. We've got to look to those. In the meantime, at least for the next maybe 3-4 seasons, keep an eye on them. Because you never know what we can produce. If Cobham keep going the way that they're going, in the long run, whilst these lads start phasing out, who knows? We might not even have to buy. We could just go, all right, you're ready. Come on in.
Miz, if you could change that to a 3-4-3 traditional one,
because
this will be the other argument. I'm just bringing the other side of the coin, literally. Sorry, not a 3-4-3. Sorry, a 4-3-3. A 4-3-3. Just with the extra midfielder. Yeah. Because this is what again people will state is that if we change formation, then you can sneak in the extra midfielder. Now, for me, why would you do that? The only explanation I've seen people come up with is it will bring more out of the forwards. So it would be
still
more
play
of
with
a,
a double pivot as well.
carry midfield. So Jorginho in the DM position, and then the 2 8s in the team. So I think for me personally, if you're going to go this route, Mount goes into this again. So you've once again got a cluster of players in this position. Mount and Loftus-Cheek potentially on that left, or Loftus-Cheek with Kante on that right, and Gallagher and Mount on that left. So the 8 positions are filled. If you're going to a 4-3-3, Mason Mount's dropping back into that. And then you've got an extra guy that we're talking about here that we didn't even mention before because he was part of the front 3. So then the only gap is that Jorginho position there sitting. Now, I personally wouldn't rip up our formation for this because I think the attackers, they get more. I mean, last game we had 22 shots, I think. So, we do create opportunities in this system, but I think it's down to the individuals and the profiles and the skill sets that they need to improve and be better in this system, in those inside 10 roles for us to really go full head of steam. I mean, we just knocked 7 past Norwich in this formation. I know it's Norwich, but we can score goals in this formation. We can create opportunities. Will they be taken? I don't think changing formation makes that front 3 or front 4 take more of their chances and become better shot converters and be better shooters. But in this Jorginho role here, we were saying before about Loftus-Cheek can funnel back in a pivot and Kovac and Gallagher. None of them, in my opinion, should be playing in that Jorginho role. That is a very specific role that I don't want to see anybody sit, because you're sitting there. You're not going forward. You're not going box to box. I saw it may have been tried where Loftus was the middle one. Loftus-Cheek was the middle one. Yeah, he went forward, and then he had 2 8s either side who kind of funneled back into a pivot. That was interesting. But if you're to play that Jorginho role the traditional way, you are sitting. And I don't know who else comes into that. That's interesting.
Yeah, man. I mean, look how stacked we still are. Even by taking a defender off and putting it into midfield, we are still stacked. There's Kante, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Because as you said, now with that 3 midfield, Mount probably has to come into the conversation into the midfield. And you're no longer going to have inside forwards. You're actually going to have genuine wingers now. So, yeah, Mount's not a genuine winger. He's not going to play in the wings. Do you know what I mean? So he will have to be in the mix of midfielder. I just don't think we need to buy anyone as yet. I'm sure when the time comes, when Kovacic when Kante and Jorginho move on, I'm sure there'll be, the world of football keeps churning and burning these superstars. Do you know what I mean? We're going to be talking about more French league defensive midfielders, up and coming midfielders on that time. So I say, and as Younes said, for 100 million, it's just insane. You want to spend that level of money for players that are going to bang in goals up front. not for a defensive midfielder that's going to sit. Do you know what I mean?
A chance creator would be incredible in that front three.
Yeah, but then you put yourself in another situation now. So if we do get someone that can create chances, I'm assuming that's not going to be a winger. I'm assuming that's going to be a sort of number 10. So we've added another midfielder to the mix, another person into who we're picking in behind the striker. I mean, yeah, as I've said, players will have to be let go. Regardless, it's going to hurt. It will sting some of them, because some of them I believe we're going to be looking at and going, oh, do we have to? But unfortunately, we'd have to. Another thing is, and I don't predict this to happen, but you never know. Imagine if Saul starts actually banging. Can you imagine if that actually happened? Like he switched on, starts scoring, gets confidence, starts playing well, and we're like, oh crap, are we going to buy him for 40 million?
Thomas Tuchel has done madness. I wouldn't put it past him. I would not put it past him.
We got another player to think about. So yeah,
but Saul is actually in that case where he has to then be better than Loftus-Cheek and Gallagher, because he's going to cost money. So Saul has got to go above and beyond to get into this team. He can't do what the norm is. He has to. He can't come in and be good and then leave again. He can't come in and fill in. He has to rip he has to start. He has to start games and rip everybody out of their position and be a starter, because then he's worth paying for. Do you know what I'm saying? Basically squad depth when you've already got squad depth. Basically,
Matisse is saying Saul's got to put Ballon d'Or sort of for performance. Saul better be nominated for Ballon d'Or next season, and then we may buy him. We may. I'm not sure.
Someone's got to remind him that he was worth 100 million at one point. Like put that in his head. He might. Yeah. Remember, Man United were interested. Before he went down, he was worth 100 mil.
Yeah. I mean, you guys remember that Bayern Munich goal, right? How he went through like five players. Yeah. I mean, he was on a mad run at that time. I wouldn't be surprised that he was touted to be worth that much money. But honestly, I look at our squad, I would only spend money up front. I would not think about back. I would not think about midfield. Keeper, we are sorted up front. Whatever you want to do with it. Do you know what I mean? Who goes, who stays? I know Ziyech is on the top of the list. There could be other players as well. Replace them, get better. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
To improve our team.
Well, guys, we've reached the end of the show. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching that. It was good to debate midfield dynamics. I think it's not really, game related in terms of the current situation, but maybe you'll look back on this show next summer and you'll be like, oh, I remember when they was talking about that, and let's see how that unfolds. So, in terms of Burnley previews, we'll all have our own previews out on our channels. I'm sure tomorrow when the press conference drops, we'll see who's available. We've had so many injury issues that I didn't even want to touch on that game too much, to be honest, because Kante he stayed behind for training and trained alone at Cobham. Pulisic came on for a few minutes there in midweek. Thomas Tuchel, I'm sure, will give us an update on whether he's got the ability to start or probably come off the bench and play a larger chunk against Burnley, maybe 30 minutes. And the other injuries as well. I'm sure Lukaku and Werner at this point are after the international break thoughts. And maybe we should actually keep it like that. Let's make the international managers think that they're really, really injured, so they don't take them and leave them here. And then after the international, we can move on.
It'll be interesting if Mount's selected for England.
Yes.
When is that? In a couple of hours' time, is it?
In an hour and 20 minutes.
I'd be interested to see if Mount's selected.
I hope not.
I hope not.
Yeah.
If Mount can be like, Gareth, sorry, got a cough.
But I heard that these lads are G'd to play for England. Like they want.
They are. Yeah,
because they all get to meet up, and like going to England is not where it used to be, where you didn't want to go to England because it was like, there's loads of pressure and the rival, players at different clubs, and the atmosphere was a bit dead and no one was friends, etc. Like there was too much beef in the club games. They're all friends now, so they can't wait to link up and do their handshakes and shit and go and have fun.
These lot genuinely like each other. And in the case of Mason, I mean, Declan.
Literally, Declan's like, that's the only time he gets to see Declan. You think he's going to pass up on the opportunity to go to England?
And then the whole picture of Mount and Declan and the Chelsea fan base. I'm sick because tonight West Ham's playing again, and he's going to do well. He's inevitable now. Rice will do well.
This is why
again.
I think this is good timing for the show, because Declan's probably going to have a good performance tonight.
Yeah.
It's just the norm at this point.
Watch the comments. They're going to hate us. They'll be like, what? Look at these three idiots not wanting Rice. Tell them to watch this game West Ham played against third division from Croatia. Do you know what I mean? Look at this team. Like,
I'm not. Do you know what?
absolutely
Yeah, at
pissed
this
at them.
point, he's performing at such a level, and I think it's ironic that some Chelsea fans are like, you can't talk about him when they spoke about Koundé at length and Hakimi at length, and we had Reece James and we had Trevor Chalobah, and no one seemed to care about development then. So it's a little bit of hypocrisy, people saying you can't talk about Rice when we talked about Koundé, and some people still talk about Koundé even though Trevor's putting in ridiculous performances. I'm not even ruling out Rice, because I think at this point he's performing at such a level, even shooting from distance, he's bringing certain traits that you can say that aren't there. But if you do bring him in, or you bring in Tchouaméni, you have to get rid of someone. You have to,
for sure.
Like that's the only realization I need Chelsea fans to come to, and I don't think it's going to be the guys who have literally been linchpin for Thomas Tuchel's system, and I'm talking about the experienced guys. So you might have to sacrifice.
Jorginho gone.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy get out clause for you where you get rid of Jorginho in your dream world or Kova. I think you're going to have to get rid of one of your beloved Cobham brothers. So you might be bringing in a Cobham brother, but you might be getting rid of one, and that's the reality I think people need to come to terms with. I think so. But yeah, would you spend 80 million upwards? Personally, no, I wouldn't. I've never valued him at that point, and I don't think I'll ever value a holding midfielder at that price point. I don't think there's anything.
You'd be insane. You'd
Yeah,
be insane.
It would be mad. I don't think there's anything a holding midfielder can do to be, for me, valued at that price point. It's just something that I've never heard of. Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna.
I guarantee Mason Mount is in the boardroom, like knocking on Marina's door, going, "Can you please make it happen? You can take 10% from my paycheck. Take 10%. Take 20%. Yeah, put it into the Declan Rice fund. Just get him here, please."
Oh my god! I'm telling you.
That's too funny, man.
Like I said before with Aspie, if these older guys were coming towards the end of their time and their performances were dipping, this would be a much easier conversation. If Kante, was really giving us just so many injuries that it was unbearable and his performances were dropping, if Jorginho's performances were dropping, if Aspie's performances were dropping, maybe Livramento would have been here. Maybe you could put in your Rice and your Tchouaméni, but the performances are not dropping.
No.
And they're not. And that's something that I think Chelsea fans, underlying some Chelsea fans maybe don't like, because they can't wait to get started on the next, but just appreciate what you got right now. You got top performers that are 30 plus putting in serious performances right now.
Do you know what, Matisse? You know what burns me? And Younes, you probably vouch on this one as well. How brilliant Kovacic has been this season before the injury. Barely any props on Kovacic in social media. Like, seriously, Chelsea football Twitter don't talk about Kovacic enough. And it's sad. But watch Declan Rice tonight. Chelsea football. It will be all about Declan Rice. I'll be tagged on so many stats, it's not even funny. I'll have to wake up in the morning and untag myself. Untag. I don't want to see it. Do you know what I mean? It's incredible. So
I've seen more props. I've seen more props for the virtual ticketing system than Kovacic from Chelsea football Twitter, and that says everything you need to know. Because that thing is horrible. So yeah,
he's had a really underrated start to the season. Like he's been absolutely fantastic. Seriously,
more assists than Bruno Fernandes and Kevin De Bruyne, I think, combined this season in the Premier League.
Maybe.
5 assists
more
from
assists than both of them. Yeah, I'm not sure about combined, but definitely both of them. Let me take.
I'm pretty certain. Someone, and no one will talk about that. No one, because you know what? It's not cool. It's not cool to talk about Kovacic. So, and the very first name you put out there in a poll or anything, who would you like gone from the Chelsea midfield in order to get Tchouaméni or Kovacic? Tchouaméni or Rice? Kovacic. Get rid of Kovacic. Let's get Rice or Tchouaméni and get rid of Kovacic. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The man's vision is unbelievable.
Literally, those three, Jorginho, Kante, Kovacic, as it stands right now, you can't move any of them. They're all paramount to our selection in midfield. They're all paramount. We need every one of them. We just need to add to it.
Kova's currently sitting joint third for assists this season in the Premier League behind Paul Pogba and Mohamed Salah. So yeah.
Wow.
And he's missed a couple games as well with obviously now probably missed a couple games with the injury.
And I'm sure Kovacic missed out on a lot of assists as well. A lot of the ones that wasn't even converted.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
Probably.
At least Salah has Liverpool where Mane and Firmino bangs it in. They don't miss over there. They slot it in.
And it's hard to provide assists when you've got your wing backs playing as your strikers and scoring goals. I mean, flipping like Chilwell and Reece James. I think I read it yesterday. Chilwell and Reece James have more goals than Mbappe and Messi put together, I think, this season.
Wow. And you know what, Younes? This is why Kovacic is providing assists for them. Kovacic has provided assists for Chilwell and for Reece James. So he knows who's scoring goals in our team.
Oh, bad. Well, guys, we're going to wrap this one up. Let us know in the comments, and obviously you've been doing so in the live chat, so big up to you. But let us know in the comments how you would shape this midfield going forward, how you think Gallagher comes into it. Do you think Gallagher comes into it? Do you think he's maybe getting way too much hype, or is he good enough to come and compete? Is anybody going to get sold that's currently in our midfield? Or do you feel like there's going to be any new any new signings as well? How do you feel about that? So let us know all of that in the comments. Change your formation, whether you're sticking with the pivot, going to a midfield 3. Let us know your future plan for Chelsea midfield in the next year. We're going to try and do a little bit of prediction here, a little bit of looking into the future. Why not? It's a subject, it's a topic. And like I said, Burnley, we wait for that press conference. Younes, bro, let them know any content coming out. Let them know what's going on over there.
The usual, man. Reddit video came out last night. That was fun. Someone made a Younes Talks Football T-shirt and took it to Kingsmeadow to a women's game. I'm baffed. I was like, yo, this is mad.
What, they printed your logo on there?
No, just my name. And then put Stacey underneath because her name was Stacey.
Oh, is she pretty? Is she good looking?
You'll be the judge of that.
Check out the video.
Come on, Younes. Give it out of 10. Give me a score out of 10.
I'm not going to be scoring people on here, man. Come on.
The only thing we do is player
I'm going to fix Younes up with her.
The only ratings we do is player ratings.
Simple. My eyes are elsewhere.
We only do player ratings. We're gonna rate how much of a player Younes is. Do you know what I mean?
But apart from that, preview for Burnley coming up tomorrow, and watch along review. There's no normal schedule. International break coming up, so try and get loads of collabs done. We'll make sure we do something as well between ourselves. Yeah, that's the plan.
Brilliant.
And Miz, bro, let them know what's happening on the other side of the coin. Any new content coming out? What's going on?
Well, 8,000 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we did it. We did it earlier this week, which is fantastic. And now the road to 10,000. Hopefully we get there nice and quickly. That'll be a big milestone. 10,000.
Definitely.
I would have never imagined that. So 8,000, good shout. Just like you boys, Burnley tomorrow. Probably do a live maybe straight after the press conference because it is the weekend coming up. So it'd be good to do that and watch along. I've been enjoying the watch alongs actually. I can now understand why you guys like it a lot. So I like it as well. And it's good. I'm pretty sure you guys get these sort of comments as well. Okay, heaps of people saying, man, if it wasn't for you guys, this match was so boring and the watch along just made it so much better because all these different conversations happening in the watch along.
Yeah.
That interaction.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a boring first half.
It's true.
Do you know what I mean? And you just get a really good kick on.
I've fallen asleep to Chelsea games before, so it's just nice to have.
Bro, come on. That Newcastle game first half.
Yeah.
I would have been sleeping. Let's be honest. If I didn't do a watch along, good night. I'll wake up.
Now if we sleep, it's comedy, so it's still fine to sleep.
Exactly. So watch along, and then obviously international break. Hope to do some collabs with you guys. Yeah, for sure.
100%. Well, guys, for me personally, obviously, make sure you hit the subscribe button. The road to 20K continues. We're almost at 19K now, so we're getting there. It was a rough international break last one. We got one more to get through, but we're slowly getting there. Obviously, Flawless on Twitch at 10 tonight after the Europa League and Conference League games. Dami and Anita, we had them on Twitch yesterday. That's going to be a new weekly show on Twitch. Dami and Anita, I know you guys have been crying out for that. Not always possible directly after the game, and I'm pivoting to videos, but on Twitch we're going to start a weekly series there, so definitely check us out on Twitch. There's a schedule there. Monstar's also on that schedule. Elizabeth was on that on Monday for a weekly show as well, so we're piling up on the Twitch. Joe Tweedy's coming up soon as well, so subscribe on here. Link is in the description for the Twitch, and apart from that, I'll see you guys for the preview against Burnley. Oh yes, it is Burnley, isn't it? I didn't get that.
It is Burnley. It is Burnley.
Thank God. Thank God.
It's Burnley and James Tarkowski.
In a bit, people. Peace.